Do we have a problem with curved splitters causing too much lift on the back of your car and thus making them pointless to use? Or is it just an E36 problem? That's what we're going over today. This is a part 2 of 1, really, but go back and check out part 1. You'll see that we tested a few different shapes of splitters, and we wanted, or of splitter leading edges, and we wanted to see what effects it had on the car. And from that, we kind of came up with some weird findings of they were essentially pointless, and they didn't make any downforce, and it made a bunch of lift, and it threw your balance off, and it really hurt the car. Now, that being said, let's try it again on a car that doesn't have any lift issues. So this is our shop car. We've gotten this thing run in CFD probably 1,000 times. So we got a whole bunch of runs on this car, and we're going to be testing out this thing. And we wanted to put the curved splitter onto this one, and now we kind of did it a bit more of a productionable item. So we used a 3/4 inch piece of material, and you can see here it's 0.7, so we can actually go a little bit taller on it. It's overlaying our current splitter. You can kind of see there. It's overlaying our current splitter, which is 1/2 inch thick. It's got a groove cut into it, and then it's got this big slope to it to allow the air to come under and give it that curve that we're looking for. Now, this would be NASA legal in a lot of classes, because I think they have a 3/4 inch rule where it can't be any bigger than that, so this would be legal in those classes. And before we get into the data, I do want to say one thing, and you guys are going to not want to hear it, but it's do subscribe, like, and share. We have to pay for all these runs, and the more people see our products, maybe more they're going to put stuff on cars, and they buy stuff from us, which then I can use to buy the CFD runs and then give you guys free data. So it does help us out if you guys do the sharing stuff, and if you like the data, we're here to help you guys out. And so this is what we got going on here. Yeah, so this is the shape. Let's go right into the results. And we're going to jump over to this screen, and boom, that's the car. But this isn't what I want. I want to look at the data. So this is the runs we're going to look at here. So run 3 and run 5. Run 4 was something that we were testing that we ended up didn't like, and just decided not to use it. And so we went back to run 3 as the base. And so this was the results. So overall, our downforce. Hold on, let's jump back. Drag. So 0 is our control. 5 is what we increased. So we went up 5 pounds of drag, which is not a lot. It's a small number, but you also have to watch drag really closely, because it in itself should be a small number. It should be, the more drag to downforce ratio you have, means you need less power to move the vehicle. If someone comes up to me and tells me how much horsepower they have, the only thing that affects is this drag number. I want as much downforce on a 100 horsepower car as I can get. Look at Formula cars. They're running 100 horsepower with a ton of downforce, and they would smoke a production car. So, and that's all because they have a tiny amount of drag. So that's what we're trying to do here. We want lowest drag as possible. So keep an eye on that. Our downforce here went to 62, so it was a nice little increase there. Now, if you remember on the last test, the overall downforce was essentially 0 because it was making so much lift on the back of the car. But it did have front downforce numbers. This is opposite. So we're looking at the front downforce here. Makes 28 pounds downforce, as opposed to 62 was the overall. So, and then the rear made 33. So it made more downforce in the back with this curved splitter lip than it did in the front. So that's, again, completely opposite of what we had on the E36. And that could be a bit more of just the shape of the boxy E36 getting more air over the top and firing up that roof and getting that thing to really start pumping up and start lifting the car. So kind of goes to show that there's when people ask us aerodynamic questions and we haven't done the test and we kind of give you an idea of what we think is going to happen, it's a guess, and we really don't know. And we're going to say a word that the internet hates and nobody really relates to, and I'm going to say it depends, because it always does. And anybody that sits there and goes, "Yeah, your car's going to do this," like that, is a liar, unfortunately. But it is what the internet likes to hear, so that's what they're going to say. And so, yeah, but we're looking here. This thing made more rear downforce than front. Wild. Why would it make more rear downforce? So let's jump in over to the actual images and see if we can get that figured out. So add in run 3 and run 5. I have to look around the camera. There we go. So, all right, so this is our X-ray view of the car. And again, did get in the comments of why did I only get to see the top of the car when we're doing this. Like, this is, imagine the car's transparent at this point. You know, we have these little black lines to kind of give you a reference of where stuff is. But imagine the car's transparent. And you're looking straight through it, and the only thing left are the colors of the lift and the drag. So the purples are the lift, or the downforce, and the reds are the lift. And you can kind of see that there. So this is like the windshield's making lift. The bottom of the tires, when the air hits the bottom of a tire, it does make lift. You know, a decent amount. So that's always hard to control. And then of course these purples, you got actually talking about tires at the top. So these tires are making some downforce here and here, and here and there. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. Now let's start flipping between the runs. So this is our first run, this is our base, our control, and this is our splitter curvature. You can see here that the splitter curvature here, or the splitter curvature here in this area, makes more downforce. You can kind of see that that purple area like extend out right there. See how it grows there? It gets bigger. So that's the part where the front splitter is making more downforce, is that area right there. It appears to be the best is the diffuser. You can kind of, we're getting some more downforce here, a little bit grows there under the floor, but really that diffuser is kicking up, and that's making good solid downforce in the back there. Another word of warning: diffusers are inherently difficult to make work at all. That being said, don't think you're going to get a diffuser off some dude off Marketplace, or, you know, hell, even some of the ones that you can buy from, you know, from like a retailer. Most of those are not worth using, simply because everything on your car is built around, or that diffuser is built around everything else on your car. I've seen mirrors make a diffuser stop working. I've seen splitter ramps or splitter diffusers make a wing stop work. So when you're talking about making a diffuser work, everything affects it because everything's in front of it. You know, your wheel offset, your tire size, your splitter shape, your bumper shape, your fog lights, all that stuff is going to have a huge effect on making the diffuser work. If you want a diffuser to work, you have to put it into something like this, and you have to work it out, and then you have to validate it. It's the only way to make diffusers work, and if you do, it can be a huge gain for you. Like this one here that we make, we tested this all on our car, and then we sell this aero package together, so that way you got it, but it's all been built together, and it's for that purpose. I refuse to just sell this thing if you're not going to do our front end on it. Like, just not going to do it, because it's so vital. We tested 9 different diffusers on this car, or 10 different diffusers, and 9 of them didn't work at all. Most of them, and we went from an open floor to a flat floor with a diffuser, and 9 of them didn't work. Almost all of them increased drag, and all of those 9 didn't make more than 1% more downforce. It was a real struggle to make a diffuser work, and that warning comes very strongly from me, so watch out for those. But yeah, you can see here that diffuser loves the curved splitter. Like, it is fired up. Look at that thing grow. So that's why we're getting all our extra downforce. That 60 pounds downforce was from that, just from that diffuser getting more cleaner air hitting it. And let's see, I think I have a flow. Where's my flow? I want my undercar flow. For whatever reason, this thing is loading slow as hell. So flip over to that. Yeah, there they go. Man, I should probably stop trying to take a video at the same time as chewing up my GPU. Alright, so here we go. I want to take a look at that undercar floor. I have to look around the camera, sorry. There we go. Boom, undercar flow. Let's see what we got here with flares, or with flat floor. So that's flat, sharp leading edge, and that's with the curve splitter. Look how much faster that air is moving under that splitter. That's probably the most dramatic thing I can show you for how it's working. You can kind of see we're getting some faster moving air coming under here. So this is how splitter ramps work. You get this fast moving air around the ramp, and then boom, look at that. That's crazy. And then, which is funny because the downforce was made here, so we weren't. But that area doesn't look like it's changed much. Yeah, so that kind of shows you that when you put some strings on your car and stuff like that, like, it might not be telling you the full story. So if you put strings on this, they would all be laid down. You put strings on this, they'd all be laid down, and you picked up a ton more speed and you had no idea. This is why CFD works. This is why we always go to CFD first before the tunnel, because it's like you're never gonna get this information from a tunnel, like not unless you got a really expensive one. So yeah, I always run it through CFD first just to get all this information. But yeah, I think that kind of covers it. Kind of gets us out of the weeds as far as if that leading splitter edge is a great idea or not. And on this particular car, it's a big win. On the E36, it was a definite lose. Yeah, other than that, that's our test, and I'm sure we'll get more questions in the comments. Fill them up. Happy to get to all of them and answer as best I can for you guys. So thanks.